We are trying to accelerate our evolution. We are trying to activate in order to reach higher levels of perception. When we reach those higher levels of perception, then we can perceive or intuitively grasp the divinity behind this universe.
I fucking love fruit. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I talk about anything I want to talk about. So, I am talking about today my Kundalini awakening experience and how it was a direct response of me recovering from my eating disorder and recovering from my drug addiction. So, yeah, it was one of the most profound experiences that I have ever been through, and it was awesome that I could experience such a level of awakening, and it was intense. Oh, okay, let me just start at the very beginning. This story starts with me deciding to love myself enough to admit that I had two big problems in my life. One, I was very, very much addicted to amphetamines. Two, they were both co-linked with an eating disorder. So the amphetamines, eating disorder, amphetamines. This endless, dangerous cycle. So I decided to admit that to my friends and family and move in with my parents to a small country town where I had a lot of time to focus on myself, my own healing, and my own self-love journey. What happened was so powerful. I knew the moment I decided to give these things that were holding me back up, I knew something was going to change, and I knew my life was going to change. I was looking after my younger sister for about a month at my parents' house. My parents were away, and I was just looking after my younger sister. So I had a lot of time to myself for my own growth and development and just opening up a new chapter in my life. When I had this time to myself, I dove right into spirituality. I dove right into working on myself. I was meditating every day. I was exercising, doing yoga. I was out in nature. I wasn't consuming any foods that were detrimental to me. So I was completely raw vegan, plant-based. I just dove right into healing myself. And right as that happened, I started to get really, really sick. I haven't been this sick for years. I had headaches. I was throwing up constantly throwing up. I thought I had just eaten something bad and that I had food poisoning or some kind of tummy bug. Little did I know that Kundalini awakening can result in physical experiences, and that is exactly what I was going through. So I was doing a lot of Kundalini yoga at that time, not knowing that I was currently going through a Kundalini awakening experience. Now this experience lasted for a duration of probably about 3 to 6 weeks. Let me give you a little bit of backstory on Kundalini. Kundalini awakening is the energy that lies dormant in the base of your spine in your root chakra. This energy is also life force, prana energy, and you can feel it rising up the spinal column sometimes. This is life force energy. This is the energy that gives you life. So most people, and when people experience Kundalini awakenings, they are often immensely intense. So this duration of time where I was sick, I was doing a lot of Kundalini yoga, not knowing that I was currently going through a Kundalini awakening experience. And this whole story climaxes on one night. When I'm having awakening experiences, often see flashes of light emit from my third eye, and they illuminate my whole head. Almost like an intense closed eye visual. So this one night I was so sick, throwing up constantly, and it was a really hot night. I knew then what I was going through. I knew that these physical symptoms were symptoms of purging, of symptoms of all the damage I had done to my body, the smoking cigarettes, the alcohol, the drugs, the restricted eating. I knew that this purging, this throwing up, was a physical manifestation of the vibrations that I could not take with me any further. I was purging, I was letting go everything that I couldn't take with me as I ascended in consciousness. And so when I finally came to terms with the realization that I was having Kundalini sickness, I just surrendered to it. And it was the most incredible experience. I was lying down in bed, getting closed eye visuals. I could feel the energy rising up my spine. And as the Kundalini pranic energy rose up the column of my spine, as it reached my pineal gland, boom, there would be this massive flash of light. I was like, yes, oh my God, give me more, universe. Oh, it was incredible and awful at the same time, but it's all about the balance, so what can you do? There was this one point I remember I was lying in the fetal position and I was moaning because I was feeling so sick, and I was feeling these rushes of pranic energy going up to my third eye, but at the same time I was feeling these rushes in nausea waves, and I just learned to embrace the whole experience. But there was this one moment where I was literally giving birth to myself. I was lying down and I became a birthing woman, and because I was in pain, but it was a joyful pain, because I knew that I was purging these things. I knew that this was for the greater good, but it was still very uncomfortable and very painful, and I was giving birth to myself. I was shedding this old skin that I couldn't take with me anymore. It was incredible, and I know this is going to be one of those significant moments in my life that I will forever remember. Is that right? So that's my story. It lifted a massive weight off my shoulders. Anybody who is experiencing a Kundalini awakening or a heightening of awareness, just know that Kundalini experiences can manifest in very, very physical forms of sickness, and they can be so super intense. I've got to cut this video short now because I'm currently in Africa and I need to go see some cave paintings or something like that. But thank you for listening to my story. I'm gonna go. I love you. Your